Hello and welcome back everyone. How are you all doing? For today's video, I just wanted to bring into the PvP scene what has been working lately for World vs World. My last creation, my full Condi build, has been receiving a ton of positive feedback and a lot of success. So I thought, why not try to bring it into the PvP scenery? So here it is. I'm just gonna go over the build really quickly, but if you are also interested in the World vs World version, I'll leave a link in the description below with a full video guide. So without further ado, let's just go over the build really quick. We're gonna start with the gear, and for this one we're using Sage Amulet. This is a nice combination of tankiness, healing, and damage. Relic of Iskaren. This is my personal preference, but know that I've tried many others. If you want to go for a more mobility option, defensive option, even a more condition option like Demon Queen, anything, most of them work. I just like Iskaren because it's easy, we're gonna be rolling a lot, makes us really strong and consistent dealer. Rune of the Afflicted, this I would say is the only mandatory item for this build because most of the damage we're gonna be applying is through poison and bleeding. This is the perfect combination, in my opinion, of Condi duration and Condi damage. We're using, of course, double dagger and short bow, and we're using Sigil of Escape plus energy on the dual daggers, and cleansing plus energy on the short bow. I would say that nowadays, running without Sigils of Energy in PvP, it feels just wrong. It just feels way worse. It's unfortunate, but for a lot of classes, and this is one of them, just running double energy feels way more consistent. So yeah, there's that. Now, moving on to the skills, we are going to be using Healing Trap right there. We already had one. This is a really strong heal plus regen appliance, and on top of that, it's a field water. So your teammates can also smash it for healings, and you know, it's really good. Sometimes I even get top healing just because I'm teamfighting a lot and people heal from my trap. Then Dodge Extends, I would say, is the other mandatory skill on this build. It's just stun break, condition break, slow break, everything break basically, and gives you a really big chunk of stability. Lightning Reflexes, another personal preference. Yet again, one more root break and stun break, plus evade window, really strong evade window, and mobility skill. Once you get used to this, you can use it to reposition around the map. Signet of the Hand, well, lately I've been running this a lot in most of the builds that use bows, because especially in PvP you find even more block spammers. Every single game there's multiple guardians, there's ages everywhere, so trying to put in the damage with the short bow without running Signet, it just feels way worse. It's also a really good addition to passive movement speed, 25%, and a really nice super speed on demand when you need it. Finally, we're using Entangle. This is just a massive, massive AoE root plus bleeding. It's just good, man. In a relatively short cooldown, it's really strong. Now, for the actual talents, we are just using Nature's Magic, Wilderness Survival, and Soulbeast, of course. Nature's Magic is just a bunch of regen, sustain, sharing boots with your pets. The most important one is Evasive Purity, which means every time we dodge roll, we cleanse a condition and we heal from it. And Invigorating Bone is gonna allow us to get a few boons whenever we use our pet skills. Pet skills are like this one, and when we are unmerged, this one. Also, the Wilderness Survival tree, it's gonna give us more endurance. Nice, actually, 5% damage reduction whenever we have regen up, and in this build we basically always do. And a little bit of protection when we roll, more condition damage, healing when we have protection, and stronger poisons. Now, in the Soulbeast tree line, pretty straightforward. Using our beast abilities grants us fury and quickness, like this. And then we just have more strike damage when we have fury. This is the important talent, Predator Scanning. This is gonna siphon life to us. It's basically life leech, if you want to call it like that. every time we poison, which we constantly do, we heal a little bit. That's a nice addition to the sustain of the build. Twisted Suspicious, we basically use CC, you deal more damage. And Eternal Bond is gonna allow us to swap pets when we are merged and add an extra healing to it. So yeah. Moving on onto the pet department, we're gonna be using the Ivolga and the Raven. The Ivolga is basically the strongest condition pet that there is by far. When we are not merged, you have a massive and long distance pull that you can use to CC enemies, pull them away from you if you position correctly, pull them to you. Well, it pulls them to the pet, not to you, but to the Ivolga itself. And you can also use it to get people down from higher places. Let's take a look at the skill right here, if we can. And there it goes. So, for the secondary part of the Ivolga, we have a projectile that applies confusion and torment, an AoE that applies a lot of confusion, and then again an AoE around us that will apply poison, bleeding, and vulnerability. Well, let's take a look at those skills in action. Something like that. Then the pink AoE, it's the spores, and that's about it. And for our secondary pet, we're going to be using the Raven. And even though it's a really decent pet, when unmerged, this is not why we want it. It has a little bit of a blind and it will apply some vulnerability, but we want it for the merged abilities, being Swiftness on Demand, which also removes slows and roots, a massive long leap that has combo finisher, and you can use it to proc your healing trap or other combo fields that there might be on the ground, and lastly, and more importantly, the Prelude Lash. This thing has a massive radius, it will pull targets to you, and you can use this to interrupt many skills, mobility skills or anything, or to set up combos. Which, speaking of that, I'm just gonna show you the number one combo that you should be learning with this build. It's really good in solo situations, but extremely deadly on teamfights if you manage to find a few people with it. So, what we want to be doing is using the Prelude Lash to pull people into you, followed up by the massive roots plus bleeding, and then pet swap into the Primal Cry from the Ivolga. Let's take a look at this. I'm just gonna wander around like so. Here into this, and then you can follow up with the AoE and some poison with the bow or whatever you want. But that's it, that's the number one combo that you should be learning for massive amounts of damage. Well, that's about it for the guide. I'm just gonna leave you now with one of my games, full game with commentary, and this was one of the best I had. I've had best, definitely, this was amazing, but I even had better, and I had worse. But overall, with this build, I always find my place in the map. You want to be assisting your team fights as much as you can, but you are also really strong dueler in case somebody tries to invade your home run. So yeah, hopefully you guys found this mini guide useful. I hope you like it, and see you on the next one. Cheers! Alrighty guys, so this was the game that we wanted to comment over. It was overall a pretty clean game, and well, right at the start we just want to stick to the team. We are going to want to take that upper position here, and in a second you're going to see how our teammate is going to pull a nice stealth, immediately detect that the catalyst is overcommitting, so we just delete him. Now from there, this guy is trying to be sneaky, but I know he's here, so I immediately place my roots into Prelude Lash, into my Ivolga AoE. He uses the ultimate to cleanse and get away from that, otherwise he was dead. But it doesn't matter, because by doing this play, we got control over mid. So since we already have our home node secure, I'm just gonna chase this guy down, because I know the thief is gonna decap also our home. Now he decapped, he lives, and even though I'm tempted to fight here, the important thing to do is to just stay on point and recap the node. So from here I can expect the thief to jump back on me, but there's nothing he can do. He also gets connected with the prelude lash into the root from my short bow, and he is forced to jump away. Even if he wants to come back, there's nothing he can do to kill me here, and he will just die if he stays. We have safely retaken our home node, and now it's time to move. I take a quick look at the minimap. Seems like the Mesmer is trying to make a play for far, and the rest of the teams seem to have mid under control, but it's better safe than sorry, so I just go there to quickly assist. Not much that we needed to do anyways, so the next step is taking a look at how the Mesmer is doing, and I realize he's trying to run because he gets ganked by another guy, so I'm just gonna try to assist him. Now my logic here is that because we have control over the map and we just kill 2 guys on mid, I can be doing this side play. Usually I would not like to fight outside the points, but this is fine because our teammates are gonna most likely come help. We managed to down the Soulbeast, but unfortunately our guy was about to die, so he gets revived. I briefly tried to chase him, but I understand that I'm not gonna catch to him, so I switch targets. I see my holo is getting bullied by the thief, so I just turn him and kill him. Now, once again, using that Raven for quick mobility, getting to mid, and this is a fight that we actually want to take. Now, what I'm trying to do here is set up a prelude lash into a root, but since I'm being targeted, I need to switch around my playstyle a little bit. I see this guy gets isolated from the group, so I decide to stick on him, mark him to see if any teammates can assist me. He gets rooted by my ultimate, and from there it's just lights out for him. Now from here what we're gonna want to do, it's just to be ready for the objective that's spawning right here and be there as quickly as possible. Even though my teammates seem to have it once again, it never hurts to be there, especially if you control the rest of the map and you have nothing else to do. Just get there. As expected, we had that objective without a single problem, and from there I just want to go where my team needs me. I take a quick look at mid, but soon I realized that there's no freaking way, this is int, I need to get away. I pop my signet and I just try to reset the situation. I see that we have both sides of the map, like we have home node and far node, so once again, I don't really care with the advantage that we have, I shouldn't be dying on mid. Right? There is no reason whatsoever why I should be trying to 1v4. Instead, I just went where my team was, and in the end we got caught into a little bit of team fighting, but because we have control and we're far ahead, this is fine again. If we kill them here, which we end up doing, yeah, we can just go back to mid, recap home node, anything we want to do. There we go, we take care of that guy, and now we see that home node has been protected already, so I decide to go far, and in the middle we get caught by the thief, or rather he gets caught by us, and I'm just gonna go ahead and try to make a play for far. We open here and our teammate comes along with us, so it shouldn't be too hard. I just wanted to stay in the point, at the very least decap, and now I'm happy enough. Now, it would be fine if I leave right here, but this game we have such a big lead that I am allowed to be chasing a little bit here. Although, usually this is not the correct play. This was actually a pretty big mistake, because we know damn well that it's really hard to kill that catalyst, but our teammate was suffering in the point. So instead we should have turned and tried to kill the guy on the point. Now we have to run away for a little bit until we escape or a teammate comes to help. Now I realize my teammate is assisting me, so I'm just turning the fight on them. Once again, we pop that Condi burst with the Volga and we just chill. From here I decide to move along, I do nothing on there, but the game is nearly over, honestly. It's just, we are just too far ahead, objective is spawning, and we are just gonna secure the game right here. And that's about it for the game, honestly. I wanted to showcase this one because I believe there was really nice decision making on this when it comes to rotations, where to be, where to assist, and now you see the thought process behind it. And if you can just replicate this, it doesn't matter if the game is easier or harder. In general, you will have decent results. Even if you lose that game, you will do just fine.